So, what happens when the story of your own life becomes a puzzle you just can't solve? Today, we're diving deep into Fragments of Yesterday, a piece that really gets to the heart of the mind's desperate struggle to hold on to its own past. Let's get into it. Right from the jump, we get this single, powerful image. This is the central metaphor for everything that's about to unfold. A diary of dreams torn at the seams. Think about that. It's not just that a record is broken, it's that the record of something as fragile as a dream has been ripped apart. This is our way into a fractured mind.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through this in 5 stages. We'll start with the initial conflict in a diary of dreams, then move to the search for pieces, the identity crisis of a stranger in mind, the paradox of the unreliable record, and finally, the terrifying conclusion of being trapped in the maze. So first up, we've got to understand the core conflict. This isn't just about having a bad day or forgetting where you put your keys. This is the fundamental problem our narrator wakes up to every single morning. It's the very foundation of their struggle.
The narrator describes their mind as a mess of tangled threads. And that is such a perfect description, isn't it? It means memories aren't just missing, they're all jumbled up, knotted together. If you try to pull on one memory, you just tighten the knots on all the others, which makes piecing together a story of your own life basically impossible. And this is their daily reality. Just try to imagine it. You wake up, and the thoughts you had just a second ago, they're already gone. You look in a broken mirror and see a stranger looking back. There are these questions echoing in your head, and even your own name feels like some word you've forgotten. Every single morning. But the narrator doesn't just give up and surrender to all this confusion. No, they fight back. They start this desperate, active hunt to try and reclaim the pieces of their past. So how do you even search for a memory? Well, they try everything. They're chasing shadows, which is a great way to describe going after something that has no substance. They look at old pictures, they trace physical scars, they draw lines on a page. They're doing anything to find some tangible proof that says, hey, I was here, I existed. And this isn't just some mental exercise. It's a physical act of desperation. I draw the lines, I trace the scars. They are literally trying to find evidence on their own body, on a piece of paper, anywhere, that proves I was here. This actually happened to me. And this is the absolutely heartbreaking part. The second they think they've got a grip on a piece of their past, poof, it's gone. They vanish before I turn around. Every tiny victory, every little glimmer of a connection is immediately lost. It's just a fleeting, brutal hunt. This constant cycle of failure leads right to the core crisis, identity. I mean, what happens when the world is showing you one version of yourself, but on the inside, you feel like a complete and utter stranger? This creates this really painful split. On one side, you've got all the external evidence, pictures on the wall, words that I leave behind, all the proof of a life that was lived. But on the other side is their internal reality, feeling like a forgotten name, or like there's a stranger hiding in my mind. The evidence and the feeling are totally disconnected. And it all just boils down to this one haunting question from the text. This isn't just some philosophical thought experiment. It's a real, desperate plea. When you can look at the evidence of your own life and feel absolutely no connection to it, who are you? Who is this other person living inside your head? Which brings us to a huge paradox. The narrator has a tool to fight this forgetting. They write things down. But that very tool turns out to be fundamentally flawed and, well, unreliable. So the narrator does the only logical thing you can do. They write it down to create a record. But it's a solution that just doesn't work. The words on the page feel totally empty because writing something down doesn't bring back the feeling, the actual connection. Like they say, it's never enough. And here's the paradox in a nutshell. The narrator has to trust the words. I mean, what else is there? But those words are just ink on a page. They don't build a bridge back to the person who wrote them. The emotional connection is just severed, leaving them with a bunch of facts, but no real identity. So, where does all this lead? You take the fractured memories, the futile search, the identity crisis, and the unreliable record, and when you put them all together, they create one thing: an inescapable, repeating maze. The narrator uses this exact metaphor, a labyrinth, a maze. And it's perfect, right? A maze isn't empty. It's full of paths and turns, but they all lead to dead ends or circle you right back to where you started. It's a prison built from your own thoughts and memories.
And inside that maze, there's this daily cycle, a pattern that just repeats endlessly. You wake up confused, you search for answers, you write down what you find, only to realize it feels hollow. And then you're lost again, right back at the beginning, just waiting to do it all over again tomorrow.
At the end of the day, the ultimate outcome is that truth and identity are just unattainable. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The truth slips through my hands, fades to gray. There's no winning, no solution. There's only the process of searching and losing over and over and over.
And so, we're left with the narrator's final, profound question, one that really extends to all of us. If our identity is built on our memories, but memory itself is something you can't touch, something unreliable, then what are we really left with? How can you trust what you can't hold?